So the next step is we're gonna deal with the final part, which is the river shader or material. So one last thing regarding the UVs, we forgot to turn off this use max cross section thing under the UV scale parameters. So let's just turn this off and I can show you why. Alright, like if we plug a color node and the visualize UV, gonna set scale to 1, you will see that with this turned on, like you might get some stretching, which is, you know, useful in some cases, but in this very specific case we don't want this, right? We definitely don't. Like maybe you're allowed to have some stretching in the water cascades if you want. You can incorporate that into the tool, and allow stretching there, but for now we're just gonna disable this. All right, and what we're gonna do as an additional thing is we want to expose this resample. All right, so I'm gonna say resample res, and we want to expose the what's called the resolution of the water mesh using these columns. So I'm gonna hit apply, accept, and then this should be enough. Also you can add some UV smooth here, right? So you can visualize its effect. It's nothing really important, but quite helps a little bit. For any reason there is some distortion, I'm gonna say group boundaries, uniform, scale dominant, curvature dominant. Okay. All right, let's try. I need to look at different areas to be able to properly choose the right value. Okay, you see, so maybe I'm just gonna keep this low. All right, keep this low, and let's output this. I'm gonna say reimport and then rebuild all instances. All right. I'm gonna increase the number of columns. Let's set it to something like 15. Right, I might want to adjust the resample resolution to something like 1.25, 1.15. All right. this area specifically, let me look. Yeah, I guess I understand why we're getting this. Just gonna try to add this spline point here and just reduce the width a little bit. Right, just slowly increase it. Decrease it a little bit. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. And we should be able to deal with our water material now. Right, let's do that. The resample thing, I just want to make sure I didn't mess up the water cascades here. 105. Alright. The smoothing thing, I might want to reduce it. Right. Just gonna try to reduce the width here just a little bit. We might reduce the number of iterations. Let's just set it to 40. 36. Right. The step multiplier, I'm gonna set it to 1.5. Right. So we're taking much smaller steps, and then we can increase this to 42 again. Right. Then when you're happy with the result, you can reduce the steps a multiplier further at 0.75, and I'm gonna set this to something like 80. Right. Would be 125. 100. All right. Now this is great. Let's just move to the material part. So we're gonna create a new material. I'm gonna call it water or river material. All right. Then in the project settings, you need to go to reflection. Make sure you change it to screen space because the shading model we're gonna use currently Lumen Reflection doesn't support it. Let's create a material instance of this and then just apply it. Then we're gonna set this to single layer water. I'm gonna add single layer water material. Create a parameter here. This one, usually I would set it to -0.1. The color scheme behind water, we can use it later for caustics. And specula should be 1. Roughness should be 0. Opacity, it's gonna set it 0.05. And refraction, we're gonna use pixel depth and divide it by refraction far distance. We're gonna set it to 5000. Saturate this and then use linear interpolate. This one will be mean refraction, belongs to refraction group, and max refraction, or let's say far refraction. Okay, this one needs to be near refraction. Let's set this to refraction. Same here. This one, this one just 1025. Right. Then we're gonna say water scattering and water absorption. Then we're gonna say divide. Gonna divide 1 by the water absorption color and divide this by the alpha, which we're gonna call intensity. Same goes here. We're gonna call the alpha channel intensity. Multiply it here and divide this by 1000. Right, this goes into scattering, this one goes into absorption. And what else we have? Yeah, let's start with this. Oops, like this. Let's set up the water absorption. So gonna set this to 100, maybe 200, 350, 200, like this should be fine. 250. Right, let's leave it like this. Right, now we can choose, gonna choose something like that. And for the water scattering, gonna choose maybe something like that for now. Okay, we can tweak this later. All right, the rest should be fine. And the next step is to add a normal map. So I'm gonna say create an image reroute, and I call this global UVs. Gonna add banner, use the texture coordinate, they multiply, call this global tiling, set this to 1, coordinate. For the speed we need two components, so be speed X, a global speed X, and global speed Y, and then append these vectors like this. Okay, I'm gonna leave this aside, and then we need to call some engine function called for chaos normal, this one. And we're gonna use texture object. We need to look for normal water. Let's see, let's look for just water. Maybe this, let's see how this looks. Yeah, we can use that. The coordinates gonna be global UVs. The speed gonna be normal noise speed. She is 0, 1. And then we can say flatten normal. Alright, this will be helpful. I'm gonna say normal flatness. Let's call it water normal flatness. Alright, this goes here. And here I'll just add speed to the Y component, global tiling, maybe 0, 8. All right. I'm gonna use the sky atmosphere lightning and change it a little bit using Control, Alt, and L. So I can get some interesting lightning going on. All right. And then we will use the flatness. Yeah, maybe I didn't expose that. Water normal flatness. Here it is. So 0, 0, 5, 0, 8. Yeah, maybe 0, 5 should be fine. $500, 150, 350. Scattering 1. Okay, we started to get somewhere. You can like let's see what we should adjust here. Alright, so before adding any water, foam or anything, we need to make sure everything else is okay. Alright, global speed 02, 015, normal noise speed 02, 025, then the tiling, yeah, maybe 1 is the way to go. 05. Alright, 05 is fine for flatness. Yeah, I will not be adding any advanced shading tricks for the water, right? I just really want to keep it simple here. So now would be wise to deal with the vertex shader part. So we're gonna say texture sample, and we will sample noise. Let's look at some low resolution noise like this one. Okay, this one is good. And with this in place, I'm gonna use global UVs and then just multiply it by vertex noise tire. I'm gonna leave it at 1 for now and use this in the vertex shader, right? The vertex interpolator here means we're gonna sample this texture per vertex instead per pixel, essentially inside the vertex shader. So with that in place, we can grab our gonna try to visualize this. Alright, so I can properly choose the tiling. Let's see. Vertex noise. Yeah, 3 or 4. I'm gonna go for 4. Right? Okay. And then I'm gonna multiply this. I'm gonna say vertex normal. Gonna multiply it by this. Say multiply by some offset, set it here, just gonna go to the offset. Okay, 50. I'm gonna set this to 50 and then subtract. Gonna subtract. I'm gonna say this offset subtract. Let's go to the offset. 150. All right. What we can additionally do is use the vertex colors. I'm gonna say vertex color and use the green channel, inverted obviously, so areas away from the borders have more of this vertex animation. And as you can see, you see like the borders barely get this effect. So this is what we want. As you can see, we can also adjust the color, so adjust the absorption. I'm gonna adjust the color, the sun direction and everything. So it's more interesting. Something like sunset is good. Water scattering, yeah, I don't know about that. Something like this is fine. Okay. Now, you can make the vertex animation more intense for the cascades part if you want. Like you can definitely do that, but this should be enough. All right. One additional step is we can add like a little bit of noise, right? So I'm gonna say use whatever comes from this vertex shader after sampling this, and then say multiplied by, I'm gonna say cloud noise scattering intensity. Set it to 1 and you're gonna adjust it. Add it and then set it here. As you can see, started to get something. But maybe this is way too low res. Alright. So maybe we can use it in a different way. So I'm just gonna use it like this, because this one is much cheaper, but if you can not get good results with that, I'm just gonna stick to this anyway. Like the texture resolution is quite low. Gonna call this cloud noise style. And just gonna multiply it by itself so it's a little bit contrasted. And then I'd like to control the intensity. As you can see what's going on. 2.5, 1. You get this cloudy noise, which helps to bring this water to life, I guess. As you can see the difference. Obviously you don't want too much of this. And regarding the contrast, let's try to get rid of it and see how it looks. Yeah, like this is much better. Okay, gonna leave it like this. This should be enough. Let's look at the shader complexity. Yeah, I mean, this the only expensive thing is this motion function. Like there is 4 texture samples here. Maybe it would be wise for you, like in actual game, to replace this with something cheaper, right? But for now, I guess this is a good way, a quick way to get what we want. So now, with all of these parts in place, we move to the foam texture. So regarding foam, what we need to do is we need to say texture sample. We need two texture samples actually. One for the foam color, right? And then one for the foam normal. All of these comes from the water plugin, all right? And we obviously gonna be using maybe not the global UVs this time, because I really want to maybe the foam speed to be slightly different than this one. All right, so I'm gonna grab this, set it here like that, and this one gonna call it foam speed X. It should be 0, to be honest. All of these should be 0. So foam speed Y, and then foam tiling. All right, now for the foam we will only add it in areas where the vertex color mask red channel is higher than 0. So we're just gonna multiply it by this and set it into the base color. All right, gonna set speed of the foam to be 0.215, and once you assign this base color, you need to tweak the opacity too. So you need to say multiply this like that. Let me just say for the opacity here, if it is 1, so you can see this. If it's not on, you can't. So we just need to properly deal with the opacity for the foam. So if I invert this, all right, and then just say multiply like this, will this be enough? Guess not. So the way I'm gonna do it is gonna say when you interpolate, so when it is 0 use this opacity, otherwise just use 1. Alright, maybe like we want some control over this, I'm gonna say foam opacity gonna be maybe 0.5, and let's adjust it here. 0.2, 0.5, 0.3. Foam tiling, foam speed, okay, this looks right. 175, right. Now We have the normals, right, and the roughness. So let's just deal with the roughness. So it should be the same thing, right? Gonna set this here. Foam roughness should be like this. And as you can see what's happening, right? So 0.5 maybe should be fine. 0.5. 0.4, 0.2, 0, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 1. Maybe 0.75. Okay. So this is the normal, and we need to add the foam normal too. So let's just do that. So I'm gonna say lerp, and based on that, we will add the normal blend. So 0 is this, 1 should be this one. This goes into the normal. All right. And as you can see, the word normal, you're getting the right stuff. All right. There is this weird UV stepping that's happening here. We'll check. I can check why this is happening later on. Right. But for now, let's just focus on finishing this material. So we have our foam, we have all the values in place. So in areas where we have foam, like it doesn't make sense to have refraction. So what we need to do is we're gonna say I'm gonna grab this and we will need to say linear interpolate. So when this is 0, it means there is no foam. You can use whatever we have from here. Otherwise, then it just should be 1. Alright, it's quite kind of a little bit effect, kind of a little bit visible. You can tweak the opacity of the foam. Like 0.45. And now comes an interesting part, which is the foam scattering, right? So for this one, we will use multiply. You know what? I guess it would be wise to create named reroute and call this foam mask. Just use it whenever needed. Otherwise, we'll end up with messy network. Right? Just use this. Alright, this looks much cleaner. Now the foam mask, I'm gonna multiply it by foam scattering. Cloud noise scattering, need for intensity thing. Set this to 1 and just add it here. Now I'm gonna look at foam scattering. Maybe what I'm gonna do regarding the foam is not use this, but use the whole area, right? The vertex color mask, like that. And instead of the foam scattering, I'm gonna use just a whole vector like this. I'm gonna move this to somewhere like here. I'm gonna call this named reroute base refraction. Let's grab base refraction, just set it here. Alright. Maybe, yeah, should I have an add? I'm gonna say here, multiply with wherever you got here. Alright. Let's say 1 minus, and then just add these two together. So foam scattering will be, you can choose wherever you find is right. So something like this. I might use this to control the intensity overall. And there you go. this makes everything different now. It gives it a really more interesting look. All right. Now, one additional thing we can do is, now we have the foam scattering. I'm not gonna touch the absorption, to be honest. If you want, you can, but to be honest, I don't wanna complicate this even further. We have the refraction. What we can do is we can use the vertex color blue channel. All right, and then say 1 minus, multiply it that, because I want that blue region to be transparent. All right. Okay. Maybe this is not working. Oh yeah. I just set it. Gonna go to opacity. All right. 0.05. 0.5. One, 0.1. For some reason doesn't look like it's affecting this. I just sign like that. I'm just gonna say linear interpolate. So when this is 1, use whatever I say here, otherwise just use the original opacity. All right. Yeah, I mean, might need to be careful with that one, because the blue channel obviously affects more than just this small area. So what I can do is, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Like in a real situation, you would have some particles and a lot of stuff, so that area would be almost hidden. You would have some rocks and stuff like that. So we don't need this.